Okay,
What are you doing over there?
thanks. You don't need to know.
Jezebel's not under the desk, is she? I mean, I prefer just Maggie. Like, I don't like anything else. I don't want to be referred to by a cutesy internet name. But, I also understand that's not everybody.
Well, it's called branding.
Yeah, I know. I'm just Maggie. It works. No. And then somebody goes, okay, Margaret. And I'm like, okay, let me show you my fucking driver's license. I'm not a Margaret.
My grandmother was a Margaret.
And I'm really happy for your grandmother, but I am...
Are you? I don't believe you. This seems insincere.
I'm legally M-A-G-G-I-E, Maggie Davidson, and I want to stick with it. Plus, I feel like I have a very cool name. I feel like Maggie Davidson is a very fictional character-esque sounding name, and I didn't really appreciate it when I was younger, but... Yeah, I feel like that's what you would name a fictional character.
Yeah, if I saw a character named Maggie Davidson, I would totally believe that she was... That was like a name that existed in the universe and would not take me out of the reality.
Yeah, it's just got a ring to it, Like it's a good name.
Your name sounds like you exist.
Yeah.
So, welcome to Evil Guacamole Gaming. I am the Devil's Avocado, with my very special guest,
Maggie. What's up, guys?
I enjoyed having her as a special Tumblr guest so much that I decided need to have just a one-on-one Let's Play with her. And what better Let's Play to be doing right now than Asagao Academy Normal Boots Club.
Asagao, I can't see it.
This is... Please do not confuse this with Asagao Academy. That's a very different thing.
Oh, that explains so much. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I take it you are familiar with the term.
I felt like I was hearing about this game that we're playing right now a lot, everywhere. But I think I was hearing about the other one a lot.
Well, no. As far as I know, there isn't actually an Asagao Academy.
Well, there's something Academy that I keep hearing about, and I got it really confused for a while there.
But Asagao is definitely a thing that is... Yeah?
I got you.
You remember what that is now?
I think I do, yeah.
You know that Jailbrew tag?
Yeah.
What's Jailbrew?
I don't want to be wrong. We should play the game.
What? Oh, right, the game. So, also, like, most of these people we are not really familiar with. We should go in with, which actually I think is probably what's going to make this interesting. We both know about JonTron, and I've been a fan for Peanut Butter Gamer for a while.
Yeah.
But besides that,
I feel like I've heard of some of them, but I've never watched their videos. Aside from JonTron as a part of Game Grumps. I've never taken time to watch the JonTron show.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I have opinions, but we're gonna keep those to myself.
No, that's fine. We're allowed to express those opinions here.
I'll just hold on to them. We don't have time.
I just hit in to go play, so...
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, Smiley, pink-haired girl.
Is that me?
Yes.
Should I make a voice? I've never done this before. Okay, I'm just gonna
there's multiple girls, so I would say with the main girl, who I believe is named Hana.
Hana, yes, we discussed that.
Yes. don't do a voice. Just
Don't
do
do
your natural voice.
crazy.
Because otherwise you're going to go crazy.
Okay.
But there's the other girl who I think is named May. I'm just fucking around.
Okay.
I think it's May. Who you'll also have to do her voice, so I would suggest.
Can we date her?
I don't think though. I think she's BFF.
Oh, it's always BFF. Okay, my life. Okay, okay. I'm gonna start now. The train made its way along the gentle curve of the coast of Japan, whisking me farther and farther from home. Across from me sat a boy, face half buried in a newspaper. He was deeply entranced in whatever article he was reading and hadn't spoken a single word to me, even when I asked if I could join him in the last compartment with any available space. He shrugged, nodded, and adjusted his newspaper without ever making eye contact. It had been almost an hour, in fact, and he hadn't once looked at me. Rude. Devoid of conversation, I took instead to counting the buttons on the pretentiously lush carmine seat cushions. 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, and so forth, over and over. Now and again, I turned to look out the window where the trees were blurring by. Sometimes the smeared green would break and reveal the quiet blue of the Sea of Japan. Eventually...
Pretty.
Yeah, I know. I wish. Eventually, this rapidity made my stomach churn, and I went back to counting the buttons on the seat cushion. 1, 2, 3... The train compartment shuddered around us. Whoa. My eyes wandered to the boy in his jacket. It wasn't the school-issued blue that I and the other students on the train were wearing. Instead, it was a green varsity-like jacket with an embroidered patch poorly sewn on the front. This guy's you.
Yeah,
or is that me?
No. This will be me.
Okay.
This is I believe this is Pro Jared.
Pro Jared. Okay.
Pro Jared.
Noted.
Yeah. Yes. Who I definitely have like seen one thing of. And I think maybe I saw him if he was on Polaris's show Friend Zone. I think maybe.
He's doing that loose tie thing. I already don't like him.
Well, he's also sparkly. Because he's that beautiful.
Ah.
So, fans of Mr. Jared here, if my voice is completely off, just pretend like it's alternate universe, so, things happen. So, you're a first year then?
He folded his newspaper neatly, set it on his lap, and looked at me with a half-interested gaze. Did he just catch me staring? Now that the paper was gone, I saw his face. He watched me through heavy-lidded eyes. His hair was immaculately groomed, his teeth straight and blindingly bright. How do you know? There was something about him, the way the light hit him, that made him look like he was almost sparkling? Me? He glanced around the compartment empty beside us and laughed. Oh. No, I'm not a first year, I'm a third year. The train began to slow, metal wheels groaning against metal tracks. The sudden shift threatened to rob me of whatever was left in my stomach, but I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, willing myself to keep it together. What kind of impression would I leave, puking on a student before I even arrived at the academy? Honey, just turn your head. The boy frowned. I picked at the hem of my cotton skirt.
That's not possible. I've never seen you before.
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously nonsense.
It took me a moment of mouth fishing to find her. Mouth fishing. Sorry, I'm a writer and I appreciate that. It's because I'm a transfer student? He laughed again.
A transfer student, huh? We don't get many of those.
I removed my acceptance letter from the front pocket of my uniform. The paper, heavyweight, off-white, had accumulated creases from my reading and rereading as if the words might have changed since the last time I read it. You don't have to prove anything to this guy. The boy took it. I know, like she's offering credentials here. The boy took it, studied it, then handed it back to me.
Well then, Hannah, I suppose I'll be seeing you around.
He smiled at me as he picked up the suitcase lying next to him. By the time I hiccuped a response, he was already gone from the compartment. I stared out into the empty hallway of the train. It was then that I realized he, having gotten it from my acceptance letter, knew my name, and I never got his. The train...
Way to go.
I know, right? God, dumb. Okay. The train settled at the station, and I filed out with the rest of the uniformed students. It was early April, and the last frost of winter had come and gone. The trees were already green, their leaves shivering in the occasional gust weaving through them. The air was mild, only a few clouds hanging in the sky. I walked along the road with the swarm of blue-jacketed bodies, looking at the little groups breaking off from the crowd. Everyone was buzzing so animatedly around me. I held my suitcase tight in my sweaty hands. It was leather-bound and worth more than anything it contained. It wasn't far to the school, and I was, for maybe the first time in my life, thankful that what I owned didn't amount to much. My school-issue black Oxfords clicked on the pavement. I walked this over and over in my mind. So many nights I lay awake, imagining what it would be like to walk from the train station to Asagao Academy in this first time. My new start. I always imagined that everything would change for me on this walk, that somehow everything would be magically different. But as I looked around, I realized nothing had changed. I hadn't changed. By the time I reached the massive gate to the academy, I forgot all about the disappointment slouching in the back of my throat. The school, framed by the gate's twisting black metal, was just as beautiful as the glossy photos I saw in its pamphlets. This was it. Asagao Academy. I glanced around. The swarm of students gathered around the gate. Beyond it, tiny blue people bounced around the academy's main building. A girl pressed a button to one side of the gate. The excitement was in the air. The excitement in the air was almost palpable. A few moments later, the black gate, with great effort, creaked outwards and cleared the pathway. As the rest of the group shifted into motion, I followed along, a sheep in the herd. My stomach tied itself into knots. The crowd split off in different directions. For a moment, I panicked. A tired-looking man with graying hair called out for first years, a cluster of fresh-faced students gathering around him.
Hey, look at that girl.
I turned.
I have no...
Yes, I think it was a one-off kind of thing. I turned. A few feet away, a small group of boys were pointing at me and snickering. Oh no. Pink hair? Are you kidding me?
How desperate can you get? This is the internet comments.
Oh, this is the YouTube comments of Asagao Academy. Hot shame crawled down my neck. I attached myself to a group of girls, following a few steps behind them. In the distance, cicadas? We don't have
cicadas.
them. We don't have them in Texas. Cicadas hummed in time to my shoes crunching against gravel. My hair. It wasn't my fault that my hair looked like this. Luckily, I found myself at the girls' dormitory, a large sign on the lawn reading Primrose House. The building dwarfed me in size and sheer intimidation. How many students did Asagao have? As I approached the building, a red-headed girl lingering nearby caught my attention. I looked away, then looked back. She was staring at me. She walked over.
You must be my roommate!
Oh, she had a voice.
That works.
Yeah, there we go. I eyed her warily. She was smiling and bouncing in a way that suggested her views on life were akin to a perpetual bouncy castle. Oh, she's me! Okay. Me?
Bingo.
Okay, so you want me to do her too?
You know what? If you're going to be doing the main character, there's going to be too much dialogue between these two.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Give me your best girl voice. Go.
No. I'm not doing a Ross female voice.
No.
Holy crap. Of course, you silly. Let me guess. Room 325.
I thought back to the paper I received a month prior with a list of all the supplies I needed for the year and my dorm arrangements. Yeah, that's right. She laughed, but I couldn't figure out what was so funny. Was she laughing at me?
When I found out my roommate was a transfer student, I knew you were gonna be a total main character.
I'm sorry. Oh, what?
When I saw you outside the gate, I knew it was you. I mean, look at that hair!
I felt a lump forming in my throat. What was she talking about? She had to be making fun of me. I hadn't spent more than 5 minutes on campus and I was already being mocked.
She's trope savvy.
I know, right? She's a Tumblr user. Come on. My hands began to tremble. Is there something wrong with my hair? Oh, she's crying. Her face slackened from its amused smile to a more worried expression. Then she began to laugh again.
Oh, no.
It's weird that some of these are narrated and some of them aren't.
I think I'll let them... If it's narrated, I'll let that...
We're getting
I'm having a hard time hearing when it is.
aren't we?
Okay.
Oh, gosh. I'm Mai Sasaki. You must be
I bowed my head.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you, Mai.
All your school books are waiting in our room with your welcome letter. And I read the envelope.
No,
Because I pry. I hope you're not mad. For a completely justifiable reason.
Mai started walking toward the dorm's front doors. I followed behind like a lost puppy.
Did you check in at the front desk already?
No, I didn't. I didn't know I was supposed to.
Good. They'll offer to have a staff member give you a tour of the campus. But I can show you around. We don't get many transfer students in year 3, you know. Oh, is that your only bag? Just the one? I'm glad I brought an extra bag of stuff to decorate our room with. I started already. I hope you don't mind. But I did wait to string the lights. I thought we could do it together, you know.
She spoke quickly. She spoke quickly, the words bubbling from her mouth, and left me no time to answer until the end of her monologue. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. She held the front door open for me, and I hurried inside. Girls filed up and down the hallway, howling greetings and exchanging vague niceties that were, more often than not, how was your break? And look at how tan you got. Oh, that's such a shallow point of view of women. It seemed like, of course, this kind of high school, though. It seemed like everyone knew each other. I followed Maya. She led me through this maze of students and up 2 flights of stairs. Each dorm floor looked like the same as the last. Narrow, white doors lining both sides of the pale pink walls. Thin gold numbers were tacked to the front of each, and the numbers rising as we climbed.
You're not missing anything with the campus tour, I promise. Mr. Saitomo does them every year, and he's, like, totally dull. He just drags you around the entire campus and talks in that weird squeaky voice of his. Squeaky voice. It's like this.
Like it is.
I'll tell you everything you need to know.
I'm frightened. I smiled, trying to let this calm my nerves. Thanks. We headed down a hallway on the 3rd floor. Mai stopped in front of a door numbered 325.
Here we are. Rule 1, don't ask about who my former roommate was. Rule 2, it's worth noting that if your roommate suicides, you get free A's for the entire rest of the semester. Rule 3, it's easy to make something look like a suicide if you do it in a bathtub. There you go. Everything you need to know.
Like
Sorry.
Like real facts here. I'm a big scary story, no sleep, creepypasta type person. Like constant reading and listening to those stories. And there is a really famous story that they're actually turning into a movie called Room 733 that is not far from that. And that is the first thing that crossed my mind. And then you said that.
I know it was based on there was like a real story with it, and then they took the real story and they made an episode of Law and Order, Criminal Intent from it.
Oh my
That's
God.
where I know it from.
That's crazy. That's funny. I'll have to look it up. Okay. A faint smell of potpourri wafted through the room. The walls, like the hallway, were soft, powdery pink. I would die. I don't dislike pink. It's just
The potpourri would kill me.
you can overdo it. You can overdo it. Also, I'm really drawn into this butt on the wall. I can't.
Hey, Devil, could you do a zoom in on that? Oh wait, that's me. Do it anyway.
Mai already defaced them with a tapestry of posters, magazine cutouts, and photographs. Some of the photos were cats, but most of them were male models and rugged musicians.
Rugged.
I have to remember that I, too, was once a young girl. A bunk bed, 2 red desks, and wooden chairs, a small dresser, and a mirrored vanity, all clearly provided by the school, were the only pieces of furniture in the tiny room. It's a kind of an adorable room, though.
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
The top bunk was already covered in neatly tucked blankets and throw pillows of clashing patterns and colors. Yeah. The bottom bunk had a single stiff-looking pillow and a thin cotton blanket that I didn't need to touch to know was horribly itchy. I must have grimaced because Mai quickly smiled at me.
I brought way too many pillows and blankets. I always overpack. I went to Italy over break and Mom got really mad at me because I brought 5 bags, but we were only there for a week.
She laughed, pulling several blankets and pillows from her bunk and rearranged them neatly on mine. Aww. A sudden twinge of guilt and embarrassment hit me. Girls gotta look out for girls, yo.
There, that's much better. Now you don't look like a poverty-stricken peasant that you are.
Thanks, Mai. I placed my suitcase on the bottom bunk and began to unpack its contents. Several changes of clothing, pens and pencils, empty notebooks, a few photographs of my father, a dilapidated stuffed rabbit, and an old portable radio and a small black box. I did an early and there. Mai opened the curtains and the sunlight poured in.
Hey, let's actually end here. I know I had a lot of goofy things, but this is probably as good a point as any to stop, and we'll pick up here on the next episode of Guacamole Gaming. I, once again, am the Devil's Advocado, and I am joined by a very special guest,
Maggie!
Hurrah! We'll see you then. Farewell!
Bye!
Of that.
Yes. Okay.
I guess. It's what we're here to do.